This is the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish, founder of Abish Financial Services.
And I'm Heather Branch here with Abe, asking for his insight on the things you can be working on now to better prepare for your financial future. The retirementkey.com is where you can start the conversation with Abe and his team at Abish Financial Services. We also, of course, have links posted in the show notes, or again, find us anytime at theretirementkey.com. Abe, it's an election year.
Yes, it is.
I feel like election can almost has become a situation where it's a 4-letter word.
Yeah, exactly. And we haven't even really started yet with all the election.
Are you kidding me? I feel like we are. I feel like I already can't get away from it.
Yeah. Those debates coming up will be must-see TV for sure.
It's going to be nuts when those headlines broke.
Must-see TV.
Right.
Must-see TV. If they happen. Hopefully they do happen because it'll be entertaining.
If nothing else.
Exactly.
We have to laugh.
Exactly.
Of course, some people are wondering what it all means for our money, particularly retirees. And we've talked about this before. You got to election-proof your retirement plan because there's going to be an election every 4 years and what could be 20, 30, 40 years of retirement. So elections can't be messing with our money. I want to ask you about how we can approach not just only this upcoming election, but the elections to come in those many decades of retirement. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. But while we're on the subject of the government, let's talk about how they just seem to be spending our money without any care, caution, concerns.
I know.
Record government spending is sounding the alarm to some on Wall Street in particular. Here is billion-dollar hedge fund manager Stanley Druckenmiller recently on CNBC.
And it's just sad because I think we're looking at one of the most exciting periods in terms of potential productivity and enhancing investments ever. And why we're spending like we're still in the Great Depression is beyond me. We don't need spending right now. We just need the government to get out of the way and let the private sector do its thing.
So as many feel, the government is out of control with how they're just throwing cash around. When the government spends too much, of course, the idea of raising taxes comes to conversation.
Yes.
We, of course, have the Trump's tax cuts sunsetting at the end of 2025. So when it comes to tax planning that we can be doing now, what are you talking to folks about in the office?
Yeah, several things. And look, we're at almost $35 trillion in national debt.
Yeah.
And spending's out of control and both sides are to blame. And we're just spending, and someone's going to pay for it. Maybe it's not, the retiree generation right now, but it definitely could be. And I would say certainly middle America going to pay the price for this. And as you mentioned, in 2026, unless something changes in the next, 6 to 8 months this year with the election and everything, looking at going back to the old tax code where tax brackets and rates were higher. Yeah. Now, there could be some changes. Rumors are that the state and local income tax SALT cap limit might be raised and eliminated and personal exemptions back. So who knows? Maybe we'll see a wash in terms of taxes in the near term, but long term, you just can't continue to kick all of these financial problems down the road without something happening. Right. And so we believe that taxes will likely be higher. And if you have equal income and retirement as you did when you were working, or more income with fewer deductions, and you've got several million or more saved, and it's all pre-tax and it hasn't been taxed yet, you're looking at a tax nightmare, potentially ticking tax time bomb. And when we think about our life savings, Heather, and our retirement, working 30, 40 years to get to the place to retire, or if you're already retired, maybe 50 years of socking money away and investing and being diligent, then to have that go awry, to lose money due to a huge downturn, to higher taxes, to inflation, to a healthcare event, a lot that we can't control, but a lot of things we can.
Okay.
You asked, how do we help our clients with taxes? Two different ways. One of the biggest ways is most Americans have saved all of their retirement dollars and life savings in pre-taxed accounts.
Right.
So if we're looking at a very fair tax environment now, which we, in our opinions, we believe we are for most people in the DC metro area, and you're concerned about taxes going up and affecting your life savings, wouldn't you want to try to take advantage of this current fair tax environment? Right. So we just had a couple come in from Vienna, Virginia with $2.5 million saved, and almost all that $2.5 million was in pre-taxed accounts. They're a 5 on our risk scale of 1 to 10. That means they're middle of the road investors, not aggressive, not super conservative, retiring in a matter of months, 24 months away from pulling the trigger, filling out the paperwork, letting their company and employers know they are fully retiring. Problems with their current plan. Number one, they have no plan. Number two, they're self-managing, which has been fine. They've been able to accumulate $2.5 million, but they have no idea what's involved in phase two. They have no idea how to put together a phase two retirement plan, which is really what we specialize in transitioning someone over into retirement successfully with a plan to not only continue growing your life savings, but protecting it from all the risks that can mess up a great life savings, one of those being taxes, which we're talking about right now. You ask, Abe, well, how can you and the team help me with taxes? Well, one of the things we do, we don't refer that out to someone else. We do it in-house, not your tax return. We're not CPAs and accounting professionals. We're retirement planning professionals who look for ways to lower risk on a life savings. So what do? We take your current income, throw that into our tax mapping reports and analysis and software, find out where you are in the tax bracket now. You need to know before you make the decision, where do you stand today in terms of your whole plan, but including taxes, where are you in the bracket? Which bracket are you in? If you were to add more income to your situation, would that bump you up into another bracket? If so, after all your deductions, what would your net effective tax rate be? Does it make sense to pursue paying more tax now on purpose to potentially save more money down the road if taxes go up and you have fewer deductions? For a lot of people, the answer is yes. Okay. And I would say, Heather, for a lot of people, the answer is somewhere in between a $50,000 to $100,000 conversion. Okay. That may not be for you. I just stepped away from the conference room table with a couple that's making and bringing in $450,000 right now per year. Right. And we recommended no tax planning and no conversions this year. Okay. They're retiring next year. Their income's dropping down to $150,000. The threshold for conversions and tax planning goes through the roof. The opportunities are much more next year, and that makes a lot of sense. But for this couple in Vienna with $2.5 million being in the 22% bracket, having room to do conversions, we recommended a $50,000 conversion for them. That purposeful move from their pre-tax accounts into Roth IRA types of tax-free accounts. We did that by providing the math to them, by running the math, by providing the analysis and reports to them so they could see where they currently stood today versus where they could stand down the road with taxes by making a change today. Don't leave your life savings to chance. Changes will come. Get out in front of it. Be proactive. Do not wait. You've been hearing about this every single week on the radio, on TV, that taxes will likely go up. It's for a lot of reasons. And one of those is crazy, out of control government country spending. We will be spending more as a country on interest on our debt than Social Security payments by the end of 2024. That is nuts. Someone's going to pay for this. And so don't let your life savings pay for it. So if you sound like this couple from Vienna, Virginia, and you say, Abe, I don't have a tax plan. This is very concerning to me. I've worked my whole life to get to the point where I can retire in the next few years, or I already am retired. Very concerned about the status of this country financially, where it's going. Very concerned that taxes will go up and impact me negatively on my retirement savings. Go to theretirementkey.com. Click on the Contact Us tab at the top of the page, and we can begin to have these same conversations about your taxes and tax planning as well.
Don't leave your life savings up to chance or up to Uncle Sam. I wanted to add in
That's right.
part too, because
he's not your friend.
It's very important to keep in mind. So again, theretirementkey.com is where you can go. We also have links posted in the show notes for your complimentary tax mapping report. Find us at theretirementkey.com. All right, let's keep on the conversation with the government. We've been doing it today, so let's just keep going down this rabbit hole as we watch the Federal Reserve trying to balance inflation and the stock market, along with public opinions, when deciding when and how to move interest rates. What are they going to do? We don't know. Wait and see. Right. We also don't want to forget that there's this little election coming up at the end of the year. It could potentially complicate things. Here is Chris Zaccarelli of the Independent Investor Alliance on Fox Business.
Our best guess is that if they do cut rates one time this year and not zero, they may do it in December and just wait till after the election. The last thing they want to do is threaten the appearance of their independence, despite the fact that they maintain they don't think about the election at all, which as human beings, I think is hard to believe because clearly everyone is thinking about it. Especially if you are in Washington, D.C., right here in our neighborhood. So that's right. How are you advising folks this election year?
Wow. Great
It's a heavy question, I realize. Yeah.
You know, let me tell you, the markets have just hit all-time highs again.
Right.
Okay. People's retirement savings and life savings are hitting the highest values they've ever seen in their lifetime. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
But it should give a lot of people some pause, because I believe this time around, a lot of people think that at any time the next shoe could drop. I don't believe most of America believes there's a ton more room in the stock market for growth before the next downturn. We believe that a lot of people believe that at any time the next shoe could drop.
Okay.
And then when you look at what the big dogs and the huge corporations and people are doing, look, Warren Buffett's whole operation and Berkshire Hathaway, they have more in cash right now. Their cash position is up 13% since the end of 2023.
Really?
What does that tell you? If Warren Buffett and his firm is going to more cash, 14% more since the end of 2023, maybe they're getting prepared for something, right?
Okay.
Big pension funds are also lowering their equity exposure. Why might that be? Probably because we've come close to, and we could speculate all we want, but we have hit all-time highs. We know that. People's values and their retirement savings are hitting all-time highs as well. This is exactly when we should get really serious about locking in and securing in a great way, protecting, putting a moat around the castle around your life savings to not only continue to grow it, but also protect it from large loss. One of the biggest things a retiree can do at the point of retirement or in retirement is avoid large loss. We're always going to lose in the market from time to time. 60 to 70% of the time, the markets are up. 30-ish% of the time, the markets are down. When they're down, though, we need to limit the loss and not ever deal with a negative 30 or 40. That is just crushing to a portfolio,
right,
especially in the distribution phase. We just had a couple come in from Ashburn, Virginia, right here where we're headquartered. They've got about $1.5 million saved, and they're retiring in 1 year with plans to live in Europe for a year. They're going to rent in Europe, I believe Italy specifically, and they want to rent there for a year to see if they're going to live there permanently, right? And we actually have a handful of clients that are living in Europe permanently, some in Portugal even. And what they found is that rent there in Europe is far less than rent here in Loudoun County, Virginia.
Yeah.
And you're living in Italy. I mean, come on now. Right. So I love hearing about these stories about how people are taking their hard-earned life savings and turning it into an income-generating plan that they can enjoy for the next 30 to 40 years of their life. But their problem was they had no plan to retire, no plan to replace the wage, no plan to reduce risk, no plan to reduce fees, essentially that classic phase one plan that got them to $1.5 million at the point of retirement. The solution for them was a phase two plan. First, a roadmap. They need to know where they're going. They need to know how much income their portfolio can generate in addition to Social Security and pension. Reduce risk, create the income, protect part of their life savings from large loss, replace income or part of the income from their wage. And we did that all, Heather, through a portfolio X-ray and analysis. How can you ever make a decision on what type of change you need to make if you don't know exactly what you have, right?
Right.
Get under the hood with your investments and your whole retirement plan. Find out all the pros and cons through a complimentary and comprehensive portfolio X-ray and analysis. Do you have a moat around your life savings? What do you have right now built into your life savings to protect you from volatility and downturns? Be prepared. Have a plan. The time is now. So if you're listening right now and you sound like this couple from Ashburn, Virginia, and you say, Abe, we have $1 million or $2 million as well. We would love to go to Europe, whether it's for a trip or to live there maybe permanently, but we don't know if we can do it because we've never had anyone test the math. Go to theretirementkey.com, click on the Contact Us tab at the top of the page. We can begin to have these same conversations about your portfolio as well.
We also have links posted in the show notes. If it's more convenient, you can just click there, or again, find us anytime at theretirementkey.com.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish. To learn more about Abish Financial Services, visit theretirementkey.com and join Abe for his radio show, The Retirement Key, Saturdays at 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 2 p.m. on WMAL.
Investment advisory services offered through Abish Financial Wealth Management, LLC, number 310633, a registered investment advisor firm. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Abraham Abish is licensed in your state, please call 571-577-9968. Abish Financial Services is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Abish Financial Services, Inc., Virginia Insurance License number 127820.